This is VSiN's Daily Morning Bets.
Here's where I'm going to look for my first best bet for this NFL Week 4 Sunday slate. And I've been following the news, the player news throughout the week, and what we've seen out of Chicago is that they are really struggling to run the football. So much struggle that they are thinking about replacing DeAndre Swift as the top running back on the team. Now, DeAndre Swift is great, we know, in open space. He's certainly great after the catch. But when the offensive line is not providing holes for him, he's not breaking tackles. He's a smaller guy. He's a shifty guy. He's not going to run over anybody. And looking at the numbers, he is the worst running back in the NFL in yards after contact per carry at only 1.8. The only player in the NFL that has a lower yards per contact per carry or yards after contact per carry is Justin Fields, and he's a quarterback. So it makes sense that the Bears are going to look to spark their running game against the Rams by utilizing Roschon Johnson more so than DeAndre Swift. It was reported multiple places earlier this week that the Bears were seriously considering giving an extended look to Roschon Johnson. I don't think those reports come out of thin air. So I'm going with Roschon Johnson over 27.5 rushing yards. You can find that at BetMGM. It's minus 135. And as a correlated best bet, I'm going to go under DeAndre Swift 35.5 rushing yards. That's at minus 120 up on the DraftKings Sportsbook. So it's a correlation. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a same game parlay. I'm not going to tell you what not to do, but I like under DeAndre Swift rushing yards and over on Roschon Johnson rushing yards. Again, the numbers under DeAndre Swift 35.5. That's at minus 120. Over 27.5 for Roschon Johnson at minus 135. Elsewhere, in other prop bets that I'm looking at for this NFL Week 4 Sunday is to the LA Chargers against the Kansas City Chiefs. The reports are that Justin Herbert is likely going to start this game. So it's not 100% confirmed that he is going to start at quarterback, but when they say likely, they say he's likely going to start. Me personally, if I was Jim Harbaugh, I would not start Justin Herbert in this game. We have a bye week coming up next week, and you're heavy underdogs to the Kansas City Chiefs, and you are without both of your tackles in Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt. To me, that is not a recipe for success. Defensively, you're going to be without Joey Bosa also. So now you're shorthanded defensively, you're shorthanded offensively, you have a banged-up quarterback. I'm not trying to run the risk of Justin Herbert re-injuring or further aggravating his injury. And if he does play, I think there's a situation that's very likely where Justin Herbert does not finish the game for the LA Chargers. Now, right now, his passing yardage prop is very low at 191 because this is all baked in. They also are a team that just doesn't pass the ball a lot. Like, this is a running team now for Jim Harbaugh. His passing attempts prop, that's what I'm going to target. Under 28.5 pass attempts for Justin Herbert, minus 125. That's on DraftKings. You can find that. There's also on MGM as well. But under 28.5 pass attempts for Justin Herbert. And I think there's multiple ways to win this bet. You can win this bet by just the game script and the Chargers just wanting to run the ball and play time of possession and keep the ball away from the Kansas City Chiefs offense, which is probably the smartest game plan that they could do. And the other way is if Justin Herbert doesn't finish this game. He didn't finish the game last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and without both of his tackles this week, and likely staring in the face of being blown out because they are 7-point dogs, I don't see him finishing this game. So I think there's a scenario where Herbert maybe plays the first half, maybe plays 3 quarters, and then the game's out. There's no reason to have him in there in the fourth quarter when you're down multiple scores. So give me under 28.5 pass attempts for Justin Herbert. One other player prop I will give out, and this is more of a sprinkle, so I wouldn't call it a best bet. This is just to have some fun. We know you guys love betting anytime touchdown scorers, right? And it's fun to take a look at these guys that are plus 200, plus 700. What was it on Thursday night when Rico Dowdle scored the first touchdown of the game for the Cowboys, and him to score the first touchdown was like 10-1, and everyone's celebrating. It's amazing when you see these bets hit and you find out how many people actually bet it. You're like, wow, so many people bet this. Wow, it makes sense. Anyway, everyone loves to celebrate a winner. But the winner that I'm looking for, again, just a sprinkle, at plus 400 or greater, shop around, but at plus 400 on the DraftKings Sportsbook, the anytime touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense or special teams. Now, Pittsburgh has done it all defensively this season. That's how they are winning football games. And they have the benefit of this week going up against a quarterback who loves to turn the football over, and that's Anthony Richardson. Yes, Will Levis has done a tremendous job of handing touchdowns to the opposing teams, right? 2 consecutive weeks, he literally cost his team the game with bad turnovers. Well, Will Levis has only thrown 5 interceptions this year. Anthony Richardson of the Colts has thrown 6. And his interceptions might be even more mind-boggling because he had the chance last week to run for a touchdown. And he gets to like the 2-3 yard line and he lobs the football into a crowd of 3 defenders, essentially just handing the ball to the other team. We have a great defensive pass rush in TJ Watt that could force a strip sack fumble, could be a pick 6, whatever it is. It's not a bet. It's not like a main unit, full unit bet, but it's a little sprinkle. Have some fun. And we love to have fun with these anytime touchdown bets. So I like the Pittsburgh Steelers as an anytime touchdown scorer against the Indianapolis Colts. I'll give you one more prop bet, and it'll be in the Jets game against the Denver Broncos. Jets are 8-point favorites. They are expected to win this game going away. And so the prop bet that I'll look to attack is Braylon Allen, the second running back for the Jets, the rookie, youngest kid in the NFL, over 35.5 rushing yards at minus 115. We saw last week a very similar game script play out against the New England Patriots, where the Jets just the game was in hand. It wasn't necessarily a blowout, but it really was a blowout. The stats showed that it should have been even more of a blowout than it was. But in that game, in the second half, Breece Hall barely touched the football because he didn't need to. Braylon Allen had 11 carries for 55 yards in that game against the Patriots, and I think it's a very similar game script here against the Broncos, where they're 8-point favorites. I mean, think about it. They were 6-point favorites over the New England Patriots, and now they're 8-point favorites over the Denver Broncos, or they were 6.5-point favorites. That, in fact, the Patriots were the only 6-point favorite that didn't cover this year in that game. So I like Braylon Allen to run the ball a lot for the Jets. I'll take his over 35.5 passing yards. As far as games on the spread, I lean towards the Jacksonville Jaguars against Houston. Got the worst of the number now because it's at 5 across the board. Certainly, you get value on the Packers because Jordan Love is expected to play, but once it gets officially announced, I do think more public money does come in on Green Bay once the public sees Jordan Love is, in fact, the starting quarterback. That'll do it for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets.